Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Media Mania podcast. I'm your host, as always, the Media Maverick Mike Weldon, and today I'm joined by my guest and friend of the show, Jason Calenzo of Three from the Deep. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, man. Super excited to be on, man. This is awesome. So, thank you.
Thank you. You're the first basketball podcast I've had on, so it is a first for the show, and I'm proud of it.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad I could be your first. That's very cool. So, I hope I don't mess it up too much for you here, but ready to talk anything with you, man. This is awesome.
Well, my first question right out of the gate is, of course, how did you come up with the name? I know, I kind of have an idea of it, but I want to hear your take on it.
Well, I was blessed doing some shows with Boom Broadcasting and coming up with the idea that I wanted to do a basketball podcast because we didn't have one that was completely devoted to basketball. So just kind of sitting here in the lab brainstorming, and I'm like, okay, I got to come up with a title that people are going to kind of enjoy, that's going to kind of get some people excited about it. So, you start playing with names and kind of stuff, and you got to get a logo. But I'm like, well, people are in love with the three ball right now. The NBA has Steph Curry fever, as you can see by the way the game is played today. It's far away from the basket, so everybody's doing these half court shots, these 30-foot shots. I'm like, okay, well, three from deep, and I was like, boom, it just hit, and kind of ran with it. People loved it. Yeah, man, and I like it, and it's one of those names that you can kind of do anything with, even if, knock on wood, if I'm not there and I need someone to stand in for me, they can jump in. And so it's a name that can be universally used, and it kind of really describes what NBA basketball is today. It's three from deep.
Yeah, three from. See, there's not many. I know New York. New York. You're from New York, correct?
I'm originally from New York. Yes.
Yeah, y'all have like 1,000 different sports teams, 1,000 different baseball teams, 1,000 different football teams, 1,000 different basketball teams. Here in Tennessee, we have two big college football teams.
Right.
We have the Tennessee Titans, and then we have our hockey team, and then we have our basketball team in the NBA, the Memphis Grizzlies, which
right
are absolute. I will say they're absolute garbage.
They're a little bit above that. The jaw drama will go, we'll kind of leave it at that, but they have opportunity there in Memphis. I've been to Memphis. It's a great city. It's a lot of fun there. I think they need a spark, and they were hoping to get it from Ja. They really haven't. So, but they're above garbage. You look at, I live now here in kind of Northern Virginia, close to the Washington Wizards. That's a garbage team in organization. I have a lot of things to say about them because they don't do very well here. And there's a lot of other teams. So I think Memphis is not that bad. They've been to the play. They were at the playoffs last year. So, I mean, they're a good team. I think they just need some better pieces and some better coaching.
And the dream team that I grew up with for the Grizzlies, it has not been the dream team since. I grew up when they had Zebo and all of them, and Rudy Gay,
right?
Gasol, and it just hasn't been the same. I know teams are going to lose players; they're going to come and go, but that was the magic. That made it magic.
Yeah, and it put them on the map. I remember when they were the Vancouver Grizzlies, and of course they moved to Memphis. But every team goes through that. I mean, if you look all throughout the history of the NBA, I mean, me being a Knicks fan, we've had some lean years where they weren't very good, and the squads and the players you had this massive turnover. So, you're going to go through those years, but that's diehard fan, man. You're a fan of your team, no matter who's out there, no matter what. You ride or die with them. I ride or die with the Knicks, whether we're in first place or last place. It is what it is, but, it's one of those things that, hopefully all it takes is a little bit of magic. You get a good draft pick here, you get a good free agent there, and all of a sudden you got something. So, don't give up on them. You deal with the hard years. You just keep cheering your team on, and they'll come around. So again, that's one of those teams that they're not perpetually going to be in the basement. I think they're going to make something happen here pretty soon.
See, my team, it's not even the Grizzlies. My team is not far from your New York Knicks. I'm a Bulls fan, and I've
Terrible.
been a Bulls fan since D Rose. Like I was around for the whole D Rose era.
Right. Well, I love some D Rose. He was a Nick too, so shout out D Rose. But of course, um, I'm a little bit older, so I grew up essentially during the '80s and '90s were the heyday. And as a Knicks fan, growing up facing Michael Jordan from the with the Chicago Bulls and Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc and all those guys, they broke our hearts a lot. So um, still have some bitter demons with the Chicago Bulls. Still respect them as an organization. I hope they can get back to. That's another one of those organizations that just
Mhm.
hasn't been able to get right since D Rose. They've been trying some different things here. Hopefully, they can get back to some of those golden era teams of Chicago. But yeah, man, Chicago, Michael Jordan. I still have nightmares.
Oh, Jordan and Pippen, man, they were magic together. They were magic together.
It worked. They destroyed a lot of teams. They broke a lot of hearts. That team again, late '80s, early '90s. They were just you feared them when they came into your building or you went to play them. There was nothing you can do. You tried to beat them, and some nights you could, but most nights, Jordan ripped your heart out. Most nights Scottie Pippen, took a hold and did his thing, and then, between Dennis Rodman and Steve Kerr and some of the other guys, that were on that squad that filled those rosters, they all played like that. They wanted to not just beat you, but they wanted to kind of demoralize you. And those Bulls teams did it, and that's why they're some of the greatest teams in NBA history. You look at the 72 win Bulls, winning a championship. They're going to go down as one of the greatest teams ever. And again, you get old heads like myself. There's still a lot of hate for the Chicago Bulls just because of those two guys, and all the hearts they ripped out of you.
Yeah, like you said, they made you not want to come to Chicago. They made you not want to come there to play them.
Yeah. There's very few players in NBA history, especially nowadays, that really strike fear into you and that you had to game plan against one person. And there's very few sports people. I mean, I'm a Giants fan. Lawrence Taylor was one of those guys. Lawrence Taylor, when the Giants came to play you or you played the Giants, you game plan for Lawrence Taylor because he was a monster. Michael Jordan was the same player. When you went to play against Michael Jordan, you had to game plan against him and try to mitigate the damage that he was going to create against you. And there's very few players, in sport that are kind of like that now, that have that mystique around them where, the team planning, we're not talking about playing against the team. We're talking about one guy, so it's pretty crazy. Some of the stuff that those teams did.
So, do people only assume you're a basketball guy with your podcast name being Three from the Deep? Do they just assume you're only a basketball guy?
Well, yes and no. I mean, they know that show, but if they watch the Boom Broadcasting Network, they'll see me on other shows. I do Sideline Savants also, which is a fantasy football podcast show. I do that through the NFL season. I do guest spots on a lot of other different shows. I mean, there's not a lot of sports I kind of don't like talking about, but if you get on the Boom Broadcasting Network YouTube channel, you'll kind of see me on my shows, and then you'll see me sprinkled throughout. I've been on Gridiron Address, which is one of our football shows. I've been on there. I've been on Out of Pocket, which is a general sports show. We talk about the big news of the day, and we've discussed a lot of different things. So sometimes, if it's the first time seeing me, yeah, you'll think, hey, NBA guy. But once you kind of get to learn and know me, you'll learn I do other things. Because even on Three from Deep, I talk about other things. I talk about other sports going on. I try to bring other things into the show. We talk about movies and music and just all kinds of crazy stuff. So I mean, I try to not just talk about basketball. I bring a lot of fun into the show, so they can see I'm a little more well rounded than just being a strict NBA guy.
Yeah, I've checked out some of broadcasting because I have a friend of mine. Well, he's someone I associate with. I collab with him from time to time. It's mailing off of Mike. I'm sure you know him.
Oh, I love me some Mike, man. He got that luscious beard going. He does a phenomenal job on the Boom Broadcasting Network. He does his nightcap. He does a lot of the wrestling shows. He does a phenomenal job. Great supporter of me and helping me out. I'm still new at the podcast game. I haven't been in this for a very long time, but he's an awesome dude. It's terrible that he's a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and we make sure we let him know that. But other than that, he's still a really cool guy.
You'll hate me then. You'll since he's the Eagles fan, you'll definitely hate me then.
No, no hate, man. There's no hate. I love, I love rivalries, and that's one of the things I'm actually going to be talking about on my next show that's going to drop on Saturday. This Saturday is we're going to talk about rivalries. So I don't hate anybody. Boston Red Sox, and of course, the Eagles and Cowboys and Commanders. There's a little bit of competitiveness, and I like to make fun of those teams, but there's no true hate. There are very few people that I actually like, hate with a passion. Michael Jordan is one of them because again, just killed us. But
Your heart.
yeah, but no, man, this is sports. This is what makes sports fun, is having those competitive rivalries and to go back and forth. Me and Mike and the team, we have a lot of different guys in Boom Broadcasting that have different, that are different fans. Michael Davis, who is the Boom Broadcasting president, he's a Cowboys fan. So, of course, we got to light him up every once in a while. So it's all in good fun, man. And that's what makes sports enjoyable. It's one thing to be entertained, but it's another thing to kind of have the camaraderie and talk with your friends and just have a good time with it.
Yeah. So is podcasting the end game for you, or is it part of something that's going to be bigger?
Man, I kind of asked myself that question, and I don't know. I'm kind of seeing where it's taken me. Look, I've only been doing this for about a year and a half, so I'm actually still really, really green at the podcast thing. I'm learning. That's why I'm grateful for my Boom Broadcasting family. They've really helped me out a lot. Those guys are super supportive. I didn't even think I'd be doing this. I was. It just came out of nowhere. If it leads to something and something happens, sweet, I'm going to ride it and go with it. If not, I'm going to enjoy doing what I'm doing because I love meeting new people. That's one of the coolest things about podcasting that kind of I've loved about it is I've met so many cool people from not my area. Everybody's from somewhere else. You're from Tennessee. I've met people Arizona, California, North Carolina, so New York. So I've talked and met with people from everywhere. So it's a lot of fun. So if it leads to something cool, but if not, I'm having a great time with it and having a lot of fun and being on great shows like yours, man. This is pretty cool because, it's been a journey so far, and it's not the destination, it's the journey.
It is. So I ask myself this question every time when I get ready to post something or I cover a story. How do you decide what sports or stories are worth covering on a given day?
Well, of course, you try to hit the big boppers. You try to stay on top of things like the big trades. Of course, we just had the Trae Young trade, in the NBA going to the Wizards from the Hawks. So you try to jump on things like that. So you try to see what's trending, but then you also try to be ahead of the trend. And that's one of the other fun things about doing this podcasting and social media is you don't want to just jump into the trend. You want to become the trend. So I try to look at, is the story sexy? Is it going to get me views? Is this going to spark people's interest? Is it controversial. You kind of look at those things because I mean, look, we're all in it for clickbait. We all want eyeballs watching us. We all want to hit that big moment where we're trending. So,
Yep.
I try to look at a lot of different things when I post because I do things that I find interesting, but I also try to really broaden my horizons and really look at things um, in the bigger picture. Okay, is this like gonna get and spark some conversation? I love having conversations with people. You get some controversial
Mhm.
topics. There's a lot in sports that go on when you talk about college, sports with nil money and the transfer portal and stuff. That just sparks, a lot of people's emotions. So I love getting into those kind of topics because then it keeps people interested. It keeps people like commenting on your stuff, and you kind of that's how you really again build relationships, and that's how you grow your brand. I mean, I want people to know that I'm just not, you know, jumping on the bandwagon and just going to talk about things that are hot or whatever. I'm going to jump on there and kind of try to make people interested, kind of spark some conversation. And so it varies. So and this is what makes what we do a lot of fun is we can dictate what we want to talk about and how we want to present it because of either how we feel or how we want to make people feel.
Yeah. Like with my podcast, I don't cover just sports, but I cover wrestling, I cover movies. And one of the posts I've made in the last 24 hours, I don't know if you watched it. I watched the new season of Unreal from WWE on Netflix.
Right.
And there's this one moment where Michael P.S. Hayes was talking about Chelsea Green, and it was a big thing he said. And I was like, okay, this is gonna get some people talking. I'm gonna make a post about this, and it's
Right.
gotten like I think 2,000 views and like 30 some comments, like people just giving their opinions on it.
Yeah, and that's awesome, and that's what you want to do. And again, that's you see something that sparks your emotion and your brain starts kind of clicking. I do a lot of writing. I literally write everything down. I type notes. I write my shows. I have a pen and paper kind of sitting there because a lot of times I'll sit there and watch TV or I'll be watching a game, and then all of a sudden something will happen. I'll be like, "Yo, that's something I want to talk about," and I'll write it down. So yeah, that's awesome, man. Because you can't be afraid to kind of let those things out of your head because it's amazing when people kind of take your thoughts and run with it because it makes you feel good. It's like, hey, people are listening to what I'm saying. That's pretty cool. So, man, that's awesome to get that many views on something you're passionate about.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you a question because I don't know if you've noticed this since the beginning of the year with because you're on Instagram just like I'm on
Mm,
Instagram.
yep.
When you make a post now, have you noticed how Instagram has changed their hashtag policy where like before you could use like 20 some hashtags and
Right.
now you can only use 5 hashtags on your post. Is that kind of increased or decreased some of your views that you've gotten?
I really haven't noticed anything yet. I think if anything, it has narrowed down my vision. So instead of like where you can just hashtag everything in the world,
Mm-hmm.
okay, now I have to be a little more specific. Now I have to hashtag the people that I want to reach. So you kind of start thinking about it a little bit more. So if anything, I've just kind of paid attention to it more instead of just blindly hashtagging everything in the world. All right, now I got to know, okay, this is the topic I'm talking about. I'm talking about the NBA. I'm talking about this trade. I'm talking about a specific team. Let me hashtag that team because when people start searching, you want to make sure that they're pulling up that hashtag. So, if anything, it's just it's made me think as opposed to just mindlessly doing it.
Yeah, that's because that's kind of what I started doing. Like I noticed it right at the beginning of the year. I'm like, okay, now I'm like, when I'm making this, if I'm making a sports post, I really need to narrow it down to just sports hashtags and not just every hashtag and put like before I was putting on their explore page for you page. I'm like, I can't do that no more
Right,
because I want to get sports fans comment. I don't want to just get Joe Smo, you know?
right. Well, if anything, and people searching are aware of that too now. So I think that helps really. I think it really helps with gathering your true audiences because now the people that are searching for those hashtags, they're getting more specific about it because they know they just can't hashtag general idea. They have to really kind of be a little more specific with it too. So I think
Mhm.
that really starts bringing in your target audience and people that really want to interact with you. So I think in some aspects, I think it's a good thing because it really gets people focused on what you're doing as opposed to just randomly scrolling through everything and not really paying attention what's on the screen because you're getting so much information.
So I know Three from the Deep and Boom Broadcasting is on YouTube, but is
Mhm.
there anywhere else people can find Three from the Deep and Boom Broadcasting and support y'all?
Right now, we're just on YouTube. I mean, we do a lot of social stuff. We do a lot of reels. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X. So we're doing a lot of things on there. We're looking at branching out, but the biggest thing we're trying to do now is capture the audience, and we've really done that with how many subscriptions we have. And I think once we kind of hit a certain mark, we'll start looking at branching out a little bit more because it takes a lot of effort, and you really got to be committed. And we're all committed to it, which is great. I think we're just trying not to be too many places and get watered down. So right now, YouTube, Boom Broadcasting Network, you can find us there. It's super easy to find us. We all have, excuse me, we all have our own socials, and we usually put those in our podcast. So it makes it easy to find. But I think once we get some more steam going, I think you'll probably find us on some other networks.
Okay. Yeah, because I see like so many podcasters now, and they're not only on YouTube anymore, but they're on Spotify, or they're on
Yeah.
Spotify, Rumble, YouTube,
Yeah.
X or XYZ area.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot you can go on. In a lot of them, to really make an impact, you got to pay. So I mean, you got to really start being uh, specific on where you want to go. You can go to Apple. You can go. There's so many places you can kind of put yourself. So I think we're still working on figuring out where else do we want to go, what else do we want to do, where are we going to get the most views, where are we going to get the most bang kind of for our buck out there, because there's so many different options. So but I think we're doing great right now. This is still a young channel. It's been a little over a year that Boom Broadcasting's been around. So um, for what they got going on, it's been a lot of fun, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback.
So, as a sports content creator, do you think modern sports media is more about entertainment than analysis now?
um, you're gonna see that. You definitely, especially on regular podcasts, and from what I've seen in social media, it's all clickbait stuff. So they're trying to incite. They're trying to um, get eyeballs on there. They want that hot to a moment where they can go viral, and so I think you don't see exactly. I don't think you're seeing a mixture of it because, like, if you look at ESPN, you're getting the analytics and the old school stats kind of talking in some of these shows, and then you're also getting the internet fodder. Hey, I'm here to just to incite, so I'm going to say some crazy stuff about what's going on, and I'm going to see if I can um, light a match and get people talking about me, whether it's positive or negative. You're seeing a little bit of both. I try not to do too much of either. I try to kind of make it a happy mix. I love bringing in stats. I love bringing in kind of the analytics of it, but I also like bringing in the hey,
Mhm.
I'm going to say what I feel. Something's going on. I don't agree with it, or I'll say some crazy stuff every once in a while, and people cringe a little bit. But that's it is what it is because we're all human. We want to talk about what we want to talk about and how we feel and how it makes us feel. So I try to do a little bit of both in my podcast. But nowadays it's hard to not see the clickbait stuff as opposed to just the general analytics of sports.
because and the reason I ask that because you probably watch him as much as I do. One of my the Pat McAfee show, and especially when
Right.
he does the college game day stuff, he like does that whole if you make a field goal, you get like X amount of dollars, and
Right.
he brings the entertainment feel to it.
Yeah, and you have to. I mean, you have to do that, and that's what he does, and it works for him. It's again one of those things that if you got something that works, you roll with it, and he does a great job with it, and he's got himself from just doing a regular podcast to being on ESPN. So you never know. That's why I do this. You never know. ESPN may call. Hey, pick up the phone. But it's you got to do something. You got to get people watching. You got to get clickbait. You got to get everything is 30 seconds to 60 seconds now. It's hard to get people to sit and watch or listen to a 30-minute or an hour podcast because everybody's just scrolling. So you got to do something kind of crazy. You got to do something that sparks people to want to sit and watch you. So I get it. It's just the nature of what is going on in the world right now.
So when you're doing a show with either Mike or whoever else that's part of Boom Broadcasting, is your approach different when covering basketball versus football, baseball, or other sports?
Not necessarily. My approach is just to be myself. I try not to put on any kind of persona. I really don't have one, want one. I'm gonna be me. So anytime I get on a podcast, whether it's yourself, whether it's on the Boom Broadcasting Network with one of my friends, I just bring what I bring. I bring Jason Calenzo to the table. I have a lot of fun. I let what I'm thinking and feeling come out, and I just let her rip, man. I try not to. I try not to separate all that because I don't want to be one way in football and another way in basketball and another. No, this is me. I'm here to enjoy and to talk and to entertain. And, if people listen, that's awesome. I'm flattered. This is great because I don't want to have to turn a switch on or be a certain way. So,
Yeah.
don't really have an approach. Sometimes it's fly by the seat of my pants because a lot of times it depends on the topic or how much sleep I've gotten or how fun work was that day. So I try to just try to do me and have fun. And so far, it's been positive.
So, in your opinion, what sport has changed the most and how it's covered online?
Mm, that's a tough one. It's definitely got to be for me. It's got to be football right now. Football, especially the NFL, the way it's covered. You look at it again because I do Sideline Savants, which is a fantasy football show. So you look at the way that it's covered from fantasy football aspect. You look at it the way it's covered, the entertainment aspect, the actual sport itself. There's so many different people covering it. There's so many different versions of it. Just to me, the NFL, especially if you look at the gambling aspect, because I know that's really hot in sports right now, especially in the NBA and college basketball with a lot of the scandals that they got going on. But you can see just the way the NFL is covered, especially when you look at gambling, when you look at fantasy football. To me, it's a little bit different than, and it hits different than say baseball or the NBA because. Like baseball, they do fantasy baseball, but it's not the same as fantasy football. Fantasy basketball is not the same as fantasy football. It's popular, but it's definitely NFL fantasy football is leaps and bounds above everybody. So, that just has changed the landscape on the way people look at the NFL. Red Zone, which is my favorite sports channel of all time. I love that, they show football 7 hours a day. Shout out Scott Hansen. I love the Red Zone. But you can sit there and just watch touchdowns. That's nice, but that's really geared towards gambling, and that's really geared towards fantasy football. That channel really has that at the heart of it. So to me, that's the one I think it has changed the most.
Especially like, and I share that opinion because like the other night with the Bears game when when the Bears had that touchdown, like right before they went to overtime, like within 2 seconds of them making that touchdown, they had a clip of it up on social media. Everyone like
Oh yeah.
they
Oh
got
yeah.
who
They
like
post real quick.
I'm like, who the hell can post in 2 seconds? Like, I can't post in 2 seconds.
That's that tape delay because a lot of times these games, especially when they have live mics on the field, they
Mm-hmm.
automatically have, I don't know if it's 20 or 30 seconds. I can't remember what it was. They do a tape delay because, of course, they got to bleep a lot of stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
But, you get these guys, they're sitting there live at the game, and they're, as soon as something happens, boom, 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 it's sent. All these teams in the NFL have content creators that are just they're uber fast and they are ready and they have them ready. They got the clip already locked and cut, and boom, there you go. So I mean, it's instant entertainment at all times. So even if you can't watch the game or you're at work and you're just scrolling through your phone, you can see all those highlights. So
Mm-hmm.
and in the NFL, I think does that a lot. I get my alerts on here, NBA wise, and I'll get some stuff, but again, the NFL leaps and bounds, blows all those guys out of the water.
So I don't know how much this next question will apply to you. I just thought of it out of thin air, honestly.
No
How do
worries,
you
I like
de-
that.
how do you deal with fans who only want you to stick to one sport?
I really haven't gotten that yet. I mean, a lot of the comments I'll get, are geared towards, what I'm talking about or a topic I'm talking about. I haven't really received any flack for, hey, you need to, focus on this. Not, what are you doing talking about the NFL? You're just an NBA guy. I've never really gotten anything like that. So I've never had to deal with any of that. And that's why I try to stay open about what I talk about and try to do different things when I am talking, because this way people aren't pigeonholed on, okay, I'm so used to him talking about the NBA. That's why on my show we'll talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. I'll do timeouts, I'll do halftime, and we'll talk about movies coming out. I'm a huge Marvel fan, so we've been talking a lot of Marvel movies here on my show. I'm a huge music fan, so we talk music on my show. So um, I have never had anybody yet, tell me otherwise or make a comment about that.
So we were talking about the NFL for a good minute. I'm gonna throw you in the hot seat for a second. I'm gonna throw you in the
Let's
hot
go.
seat.
I like it.
Who have you had in the playoffs, and have you been surprised by how the playoffs shook out this year?
Not really surprised. A little surprised with the Buffalo Bills. I was thinking, with Josh Allen, no Lamar Jackson, no Patrick Mahomes, no Joe Burrow in front of you. This is your time. And then, of course, I mean, it's one controversial call, but they had a lot of opportunities in that game. So for the Bills to kind of um, not be able to get over the hump, and excuse me, Josh Allen,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, not being able to make it, that was a huge surprise to me because I really expected Buffalo to kind of make it. But I mean, of course, I'm a Giants fan, so I haven't really been riding with everybody. It's just amazing how strong the NFC West has been in their presence in the playoffs and their push. I mean, Seattle looks great. The Legion of Boom is back. Um, Sam Darnold, the reinvention of himself. I mean, basically left for dead in New York, revitalized his career last year, fell short, but now he's on the cusp of maybe going to the Super Bowl. So, not really riding with anybody. It's looking like it's going to be a rematch of the Pats Seahawks uh,
Mm-hmm.
matchup, but that's what I'm thinking. But I don't know. Rams are still uber tough. These games have been exciting. Like that first round wild card weekend was some really amazing games. We've never had, I mean, besides the Steelers blowout, those other games were so close and a lot of fun to watch. So,
You
uh,
had to put salt in that. You had to put salt in that wound. Please leave
yeah, I'm sorry. A little,
leave,
little
leave
salt,
my
a little
Steelers.
salt bay.
Uh,
Well, Steelers, look, I am very surprised on how far they made it, that they actually made it with 157-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who I'm just not a huge fan of. I think he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks in NFL history, but that's a whole nother subject. But for Mike Tomlin to take that team and get to the playoffs, no matter what, was absolutely amazing, especially in that really tough division where nobody wanted to step up and take it. So Steelers took it. So, but man, that Texans defense was ridiculous.
I remember the day of the game. I was at work a couple hours before the game, and my supervisor, he's a diehard Panthers fan, and he was saying the Texans are going to run all over y'all. And I was telling him, no, we're just going to hang on for that 8 second ride because, as you know, their mascot is a bull. I said we're
Right.
just going to hang on for that 8 second ride. And and damn it, if we didn't get bucked off in like 0.2 seconds.
Well, CJ Stroud tried to do everything he could to give that game away because he couldn't hold on to the stinking football. But it's when you start getting into the playoffs like that, when your team has holes and opportunities, they become magnified because you can see the issues the Steelers had, that some of the holes that they had in that team, and a lot of it offensive line, running back, wide receiver, quarterback. I mean, they have some issues there that that Texans defense exploited. So I mean, it's just when you get to the playoffs, there's minimal margin for error. You got to play good. You got to play solid football. You got to play like it's the last game of your career. And it is what it is. At least you guys made the playoffs. Again, as a Giants fan, we haven't sniffed the playoffs and been good for a very long time. So, ride that wave. And of course, just the more shocking is now that we're not going to see Mike Tomlin on the sidelines. I think is more shocking than the playoff loss.
Yeah, now we don't have a coach, we don't have a quarterback.
Well, I mean, again, you're going to have those years, man, where again you
Lame.
rode a huge wave. I mean, you look at New England with Belichick and Brady; they had a huge wave they rode, and then it came to an end. But now look at they're going back up again. So Pittsburgh will be fine. They'll have some rebuilding years, but they'll get it back because it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what they do.
I know. I jumped on the Patriots bandwagon for one night when they played the Texans. I like put these damn bastards down. Put them down.
They look good too. That Patriots defense looked good. I got lucky enough this year. Went on a trip and got to see the Pats Jets game on the Thursday night game. And I tell you what, man, seeing Drake May in person and seeing that Pats team in person was pretty impressive. Of course, again, I'm a Giants fan, so I know we've gotten the Pats a couple of different times, and I'll take that. Eli still owns Tom Brady, and I'll ride that forever. But it's going to be tough to beat that Pats team, man. They're operating on all cylinders. They got a good defense. Drake May, he's going to get some MVP votes, man. He's that next big guy. I mean, I'm impressed with his poise and how he's been playing.
Yeah,
crazy.
And especially with me, I live in Nashville, so and Tennessee's the Titans, and seeing Vrabel coaching the Patriots to a possible Super Bowl, it's like every Titans fan I know is up in arms with the Titans. They are up in arms.
Yeah, I can see that, but again, it's sometimes coaches fit where they fit. I'm interested to see and excited to see where Saleh brings the Titans. I mean, you guys got a number one draft pick quarterback. I think if you plug in, some talent maybe at the running back position, get that offensive line tightened up, Saleh's going to coach that defense and coach them up. So I think Tennessee has the chance to really make some noise in the NFL next year, get a couple of wide receivers, because the NFL stands for not for long. You can be on top one year and then in the basement the next. So, and we've seen teams go from the bottom and bubble up and become, the Seahawks. Who would have thought that they would have been a juggernaut this year, or the Bears,
Yeah.
as terrible of a year that they had last year, to bounce back and be better like they have. So the NFL is notorious for that. For 1 year, you're done. The next year, you're on top. So it'll be interesting to see where things go next year. But I think Tennessee should have a lot to be excited about, because you're in a better position than a lot of other teams out there.
Yeah. So, what episode or moment so far from Three from the Deep are you most proud of?
I think my first one. Again, I haven't been doing this very long. At the time, I had been on a bunch of different shows as either a co-host, or I was on with somebody. I never did anything by myself.
Yeah.
And so when I agreed and came up with the idea of doing a basketball podcast, it was essentially going to be me doing it solo. So, like, getting in coming down here in the lab, getting in the basement, coming up with ideas. How do I want to do the show? What do I want to do? What do I want to talk about? How do I want to talk about it? And then having the nerve to do the first episode and not like panic. Cause again, I don't know. I've never done this before. I didn't have a mic at the time. I was just talking to my computer and really didn't have a setup. So I was like uber nervous. I was by myself. So it's like, when you're by yourself and you're just talking,
Yeah.
it's the dynamic is completely different compared to having a guest or having a co-host. You can feed off each other, and the silence is not as deadening. So, but that first one, to be as nervous as I was, to be fumbling around and not know what the hell I was doing, to kind of do it and get through it and critique myself, because I go back and I watch my shows. I don't do it for vanity's sake. I do it to kind of, okay, I could have done this a little bit different. Oh, I see how, sometimes I'll say too many times. You kind of go through and try to be better the next show, and I've taught myself to do that now. So that first show, that got the boulder rolling, man, and now I still can get on. I can do it. I'm a little more comfortable. I still have a little anxiety sometimes, because again, this is still. I want to make sure that I don't sound stupid, and I'm like, people are like, what the heck is this guy doing? You kind of, question yourself a little bit here. We all do. But yeah, that first show, that was tough. And it was a big moment for me to kind of get over that hump. And ever since then, I've done over 100, actually I'm on 102 shows right now on Three from Deep. And I've done, I don't even know the count here. I think 50 something shows on Sideline Savants. So, and then countless appearances. So, I mean, I've gone from not doing much of anything to now kind of being a little more immersed into podcasting. And it was all getting the confidence, getting, that first show under my belt.
Like this time last year, I was going through one of my slums. I was like, I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna walk away.
Right. And you get that way sometimes. And it's tough. You have, people don't understand, with podcasting and what we do, especially us, you got to work. You have life. I mean, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I work 60 plus hours a week. So like, you're tired, you come home, it's like, okay, I got a show I got to do too. And you have to kind of like, okay, man, I don't feel like doing it. So sometimes you push through. I've had times where I've done kind of a bad show, in my opinion. Like I've been hard on myself. Like, man, I fumbled through that show. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. So you kind of start second guessing yourself, and you really start getting hard. It's like, I don't know if I can do that. So, a lot of times, and that's why I'm thankful for my Boom Broadcasting family, because I'll talk these things out with those guys. And they've talked me through a lot of it, and kind of got me past that one. Not to say wanting to quit, but they've gotten me past of like, hey, you got to stop second guessing yourself. Hey, you got to, not worry about these things. Go out there and have fun with it. Go out there and show people who you are and be yourself, and enjoy it. So yeah, I can see that, man. It is tough. It's a tough gig to do, But a lot of times you just got to like push through it and persevere, and have that confidence in yourself. And that's what I try to do every time.
Yeah, like last year, I was like, my podcast didn't wasn't even under this name. I was doing a whole different kind of podcast. Like it was called All Things Wrestling, and
Mm,
I was like, I want to throw my hands up. I want nothing to do with pro wrestling. I'm so burnt. That's all I talk about on here. Like I need something else.
right.
And I took like from February to April, I posted nothing. Then April May comes around, like, all right, I'm revamping. This is no longer just wrestling. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna hop in front of the camera because before then I was just doing audio. Like I wasn't showing my face or nothing.
Right.
And now here I am, almost a year later, 50 episodes in.
And that's awesome, man. Congratulations. And just keep doing it, man. But you know, these are living, breathing things. We're giving people a piece of ourselves. And yeah, so I mean, you can get burnt out. I've done a lot of shows with basketball, and that's why I try to do different things. But you can't be afraid to do different things. You're like, okay, I'm a basketball show, but I can't talk about you know the Australian Open that's going on. I can't talk about the NFL playoffs that's going on. I'm only one show, but no, I can. It's my show. I can do whatever the heck I want. I can talk about whatever I want. I can have some fun with it, break it
Mhm.
up a little bit. Try to break up the monotony of it all. So, but man, congratulations, because that takes a lot. It can get easily to burn out, but you persevered, got on here, you're on the mic now, I'm on your show with you, man. That's awesome. So congratulations, keep going, dude, keep doing it. But don't ever be afraid to change. Don't ever be afraid to just talk about what you want to talk about. The titles are titles. That means absolutely nothing. And people are here to see you, people are here to listen to you. You can talk about whatever you want, people will still listen.
Yes. And if someone was getting, I asked this to other content creators, not just sports content creators, but if someone wanted to get into just being a sports content creator, sports podcaster, just somehow involved in sports at all besides just playing, what advice would you give them?
Come in with a plan. What do you want to do? Who do you want to talk to? What do you want to talk about? What direction do you want your show to go in? Um, you don't go in blindly and then expect it to all just fall into place. Again, I try to write everything. I got notepads all over the house. I try to write things down. Ideas come to me. You're in the shower. You're at work, etc. I try to write ideas and things down. So come in with a plan. Don't just think, okay, it's going to come to me and I'm just going to come up on here and I have a mic and a camera and I can just come up here and talk about whatever I want. Well, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have direction, next thing you know, you're like, you're just kind of staring at yourself like, oh crap, what do I talk about? What do I say? That's when all that deafening dead space comes in, and it's like, oh shoot, what I should have done this or I should have done that. So yeah, man, if you want to do this, do it. It's great. I like I said, I've had a lot of fun. I meet a lot of great people with it. I get to talk about whatever the heck I want because it's mine. I'm the creator of it. But have some direction. Plan it out. Don't just think it's gonna come and then fly by the seat of your pants, because then you're gonna just kind of, I'm gonna say, just get burnt out with it, and then you're gonna not want to do it anymore because you're not going to be
You're not
like,
going to
oh,
carry
this,
on
I
with
don't
it.
know what I'm doing. Get an idea of what you want to do and where you want to go,
Yeah.
and then go for it. Don't be afraid. Use your creativity.
What I say this all the time now when because I've had people ask me my opinion on it. I'll say, like, at the same time, like, make check out places where you can do your podcast on. Like, check out different, like, there's different streaming services you can do your podcast on. Like, there's like, I do mine like right now on StreamYard,
Right.
and but I know there's Riverside, I know there's Restream, but for me, I finally just settled down with StreamYard because it's the most easiest for me to set up and do stuff with.
Right. And that's the one I use too. It's been the most user friendly one for me. It's kind of the one I started with, I really haven't tried many others. I mean, I do some stuff on social media, but this is the one I know. I mean, there may be better ones out there, but it's about what you know and what you're comfortable with. It's done me good. I enjoy it. It's pretty easy. The platform is easy. It's user friendly, especially if you're just starting out and you want to get into it and you want something that's not difficult to get into and difficult to cut and kind of create your shows and post it. It I like it.
Yeah.
Does good for me.
So with it being in January and it's the new year, what can we expect from Three from the Deep and Boom Broadcasting for the rest of 2026?
Man, we got a lot going on. For myself, Three from Deep, of course, we're halfway through the NBA season. We got the NBA All-Star game coming up, trade deadlines coming up. So the next 2-3 weeks are going to be fast and furious, especially if we get some big, some more big trades going on. Then right out of that, you start getting into the playoffs, all the way into June. So with the playoffs and the finals. So I'm just going to be covering basketball on Three from Deep, having fun with it, sprinkling in a lot of different things. Of course, there's a lot of different sports and movies and stuff coming out and all kinds of fun things I like to talk about, so we'll do some big things. But Boom Broadcasting doing big things. We got a lot of great shows. We have Chris DeLuca does the dugout debrief. He talks, all baseball. We got my man podcast midi, Shannon Smith. He's on Quick Hits. He talks about just about every sport you can think of. He loves F1. He does tennis. He does the WNBA. He does a lot of great stuff. He's been a guest on my show. We talk NBA. So we do a lot of great things there. The president, Mr. Michael Davis, he does Out of Pocket. His show, he talks about all kinds of different sports, NFL, college football, college basketball. We got Hoops and Helmets with my man Carson and my man Aaron. They talk college football and college basketball. So we'll have March Madness coming up. So, Boom Broadcasting is going to jump into that. My man Aaron also does the Gridiron Address. We talk the NFL draft is coming up pretty soon. We'll get into draft picks. He'll start breaking. I mean, he literally breaks down, every position with the NFL draft. So if you need any draft help, get a hold of Aaron. He'll help you out and he'll navigate who's going to go to your team. Mouthing off with Mike, he does a phenomenal job with his wrestling podcast, because I know the wrestling season is going to be picking back up here pretty soon here, and you're going to see more coming out of that. So we got a lot of big things. My man Carson, good Lord, we got all kinds of guys, but a lot of big things from the Boom Broadcasting. We're I'm not going to give away all the secrets, but we have some other shows coming out. We got some other things in the works. So stay tuned. Jump on the Boom Broadcasting Network. You will not be sorry. Doesn't cost anything. You'll love it.
I'll give the viewers a little sneak peek because as I talked to you about earlier, me and Mike, we talk off screen all the time, and we got some stuff possibly in the works for later in the year to do some collabs closer to WrestleMania season.
Yep, that'll be fun, and we love doing that too. So, yeah, man, shout out! I appreciate being on your show and collaborating. I'll have to, reach out and we'll do something. I'll get you on some of my shows here too. But then that's the biggest thing I love about podcasting is meeting cool people and just talking sports, entertainment, movies, music, culture, whatever, food. We like all kinds of stuff, and it's a lot of fun to sit here and be friendly and make friends with somebody and talk about things you enjoy and having some awesome conversations and getting the interactions from the people out there that kind of feel the same way we do, which is awesome, and it feels good.
Yeah, and if y'all haven't yet, if you've watched this episode and you haven't yet, if you scan that QR code in your top left hand corner, it'll lead you right to the Three from the Deep Instagram page. Go give it a follow. And if you haven't yet, go subscribe to Boom Broadcasting on YouTube. Give them a sub. Mike, Mouthing Off with Mike is awesome. Jason is awesome. Good people and some awesome content. Good for laughs. I've enjoyed this conversation with Jason. And be looking for more. Like you never know. You might see me somewhere else working with Boom Broadcasting on some other stuff later in the year.
Come on with it, man. It's we love it. We love talking with people.
And I want to say thank you to Jason for coming on tonight. I know you have another show you have to go do tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and take a little bit of time out of your Friday night. I know it's about to be a crazy weekend for us here in the deep south with there's a certain storm coming our way.
Same here, guys. Batten down the hatchins. It's a perfect time to sit inside, jump on here with Mike, jump on here on the Boom Broadcasting Network, snuggle up, guys. Be safe from the storm. Again, I'm here in Northern Virginia. We're expecting, I think, 18 to 24 inches or something like that of snow. I think we're going to be snowed in for like 3 or 4 days. So, but just everybody out there, be very, very, very safe, man. I got a lot of friends and family that are going to be affected by the storm, and I know a lot of people are. So please,
If you happen to have Elsa's phone number, please give her a call. Call Mother Nature. Tell them to go away. We don't want this. We didn't ask for this.
I don't mind. My son has been waiting for a good snowstorm, so I'm hoping we get some good snow. I'm, snowball fights, sledding, snow fort. Bring it on. Let's go. Just be safe. Don't be on the road if you don't need to. But if you don't have to, you know, if you're not a first responder, some of the people that work out in this stuff, the guys that plow the highways, shout out to everybody out there that keeps us safe and keeps us moving and keeps the roads clear, who'll be working 24, 48 hours straight to kind of, keep the world moving from this storm. Thank you guys very much for doing that. But if you don't have to go anywhere, go outside, throw a snowball at somebody, go outside, go sledding, do something fun, get out there and play in the snow. Don't just be cooped up. So, it is what it is. Go out there and have fun with it at least.
Yeah, at least have fun with it. That's what I say. Yeah, drink some hot chocolate.
There you
I'll say
go.
I wish I had some eggnog. Right now with the snowstorm, some eggnog sounds amazing with the snowstorm.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a little beverage here. It's a perfect time to sit inside and just enjoy.
Mhm.
Catch up again. Catch up on some podcasts out there. Go out there and watch some YouTube guys.
Mhm. And and if you haven't watched this live, make sure you watch the recorded version and drop it a like. Tell us what you thought about the show. I'm always looking for feedback. I want to see what I could do better, or what y'all liked, what y'all didn't like.
Yep, love it, man. And again, Mike, thank you so much, man. It was an honor to be on here with you, dude.
Oh, it was an honor to have you on. I enjoyed talking about a little basketball, a little bit of everything, and I look forward to having you or someone else from Boom Broadcasting on later in the year.
We'll do it again. We'll run it back. We'll get on here. We'll talk about something, man. There's a lot of good stuff coming up here pretty soon. So I'm down. You let me know.
All right, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, you know where this is about to go. If you've watched an episode before, I am your host, and always will be your host, the Media Maverick Mike Weldon. And this has been Jason from Three from the Deep and from Boom Broadcasting, and we are out of here. Make sure you catch us where you catch us.